Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm here today to share a bit about sketching. I came across a couple of people, some of them who are entering art and wants to learn something creative, and there are some people who have been facing some creative blocks and want to get past it. No matter which person you are, what matters is that you start moving your finger muscles with the canvas. You start working with the pencil. So first thing that you want to do is you want to move your finger muscles, right? That's what you need to do. So what I like to do is I like to first scribble out anything that comes to me. So I'd first scribble out a circle. Let's say I'll scribble out a square, a triangle. These are basically like the primary alphabets of visual art or art in general. We can do miraculous art with just these three shapes. We mix the shapes twice. Let's say we have a triangle and we mix them twice, we get a star. We mix a triangle with a box, it's a house basically, right? So it's really miraculous how composing these elements kind of bring us to really fun languages. So let me try to give you guys an exercise and see if that helped you out. All right. Some simple exercises that I've picked up from some really amazing people that I've worked with within the past 10-15 years of my career, starting from projects like Harry Potter, Disney's John Carter, Stanley's Chakra, The Invincible, etc. Having these really fun experiences designing characters, working with the VFX. I came across some really amazing tips and techniques that helped me out, and I think that might help you out too. So the closest thing to you right now would be a paper, pencil, your Wacom tablet, your eraser, whichever it is. Let's take the simplest, most shape that we can find. So what we'll do, we'll draw an eraser and we will try to draw it 3 times from the front, from the top, and from a profile angle. And we'll try to bring some characters to it, because even though it's simple, we need to bring in some characters. So I'll be with you on this one, all right? So let's try to figure out and understand the anatomy of an eraser. It's pretty simple, right? If we look at the eraser from the front, it's basically just a cube, like a rectangle, correct? It's just a longer version of a square, right? If you go to the sides, we know that it's going to be a longer shape, right? It's going to be a longer shape. And we have this packaging of these erasers that comes with the packaging. Something like that, for example, like it's just some branding, just to give you guys an idea, right? What if we try to draw it from a profile angle, right? Let's say we want to draw this in a character. We want to give this a character. Right now it's just boxes, which doesn't really make sense if we don't explain it, right? If we are doing something on the canvas and we need to explain it, then it's pretty much not ready to be shown by itself. It's not a standalone art by itself. What we need to do is create something which is standalone and where we don't need to explain it. So let's try to bring in some character which speaks for itself. So we'll try to draw this non-dust eraser from a top side angle. So we know that if we have this as front, and I'm going to try to break it down to you so that you really get it in a process. So if we kind of see that from a top side view, and I have an advantage that I'm using Photoshop, and if you're drawing on paper and pencil, you may not have that advantage, but pretty much just to give you an idea of how things work in perspective, this is pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. And if we can manage to draw a straight line parallel to this one basically, and I'm using my freehand method. We want to train our freehand exercises, because sometimes, not always, tools make it easy. Sometimes tools make it harder. So we need to be able to have a mature understanding of the subject, and that's why we should be able to think these through. All right, so let's say that's our branding, blah blah blah. All right, I'm not gonna write the whole of it, but just the N, and then let's say that's just the branding of it. Okay, so that's pretty much how it would look like from the side. Now we pretty much nailed down the eraser, but we still don't have character. Now what is a character? Characters are basically flaws, imperfectness. Because remember, nature is not perfect. The imperfectness of nature is what makes it beautiful, right? So how do we put characters on this? We just make it imperfect. Right now, it's a perfect cube. But erasers, as students and we all use it, we will see that the sides kind of starts to wear off and it starts to catch dirt because it's been used and used for erasing pencil work. And we all know that we've all done it as a child. We still do it from time to time. And this is what brings character to this. So historic figures are remembered because there's a history to it, there's a character to it. So we're just bringing in some character to this. So let's just leave like the other parts alone, right? And I remember that when one side gets really round, I remember it as a child that we used to buy these new erasers, and then one side would get really dark and mushed up. So we just wait. We were tempted to use the fresh side, the sharp one, to start using to it. I know that feeling. So yeah, so we just leave it to this and kind of call it a design, all right? And without even thinking, we kind of have one artwork. If we can just simply shade it. There you go. A little bit of shading itself gives it so much of character, depth, and before we could even think about it, we have an art. But we could only do it because we started and we prevented ourselves from procrastinating into our thoughts and going backwards. We need to move forward and kind of break ourselves free from that. If you find anybody who's going through a stage of creative block or going through a phase where they want to learn something new, I definitely say just ask them to draw an eraser. Eraser would be the closest reference in front of them. They would either have a pencil, an eraser, and a paper, and they could just easily get the reference of what they have to draw. They can place the eraser in front of them and they can start replicating from them. This will help them. So yeah, do advise them to break through from that first phase of stepping into breaking that procrastination. I'll be happy to know how they do. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope this helped. My name is Soumyadipta Roy. My website is artistroy.com and my Instagram handle is @artistroy. Hope to catch you up. See ya. Bye bye.